Greetings everybody, and here we are with another JeSter Reviews, and today we are going to be looking at the Gemini Temporal Cruiser. Now again, I would like to offer thanks to Alcibiades for this, because I did intend to purchase all the original Star Trek ships that was in the Zen store, but I was going to hold off and buy them one after another for over the next few weeks. However, Alcibiades has reminded me that very shortly these are going to be dilithium purchasers only, and they will be character locked, so I won't be able to share them between my characters. So today I've hightailed it into the C store and picked up a couple of these oldie worldy ships, and this was one of them. Now this ship is a T4 ship, and I think Cryptic have been a little bit naughty here, because this is the same sort of issue that I had with the Ranger class. Now, if you were to buy the Sagittarius class, which is a T6 ship, you'll get this the Gemini Temporal Cruiser as a skin, basically. And as with the Ranger class, I'll just show you, the Gemini class doesn't come with any masteries. So basically you've got a choice of buying the Sagittarius class and using this as the skin, and using the Sagittarius class masteries, or just picking this up with no masteries on it at all, and virtually no bonuses. Very similar situation to the Ranger class. And you know what? I'm not particularly bothered. I've got sufficient consoles, I've got sufficient traits, and I've got decent endeavour scores. But one little bit of good news is I get the Pioneer Bridge, which, as you know, is a favourite bridge of mine. Now then, let's take a close look at this ship, because I know we're going around and around, and I know you're all going to get very dizzy. As you can see, we've got 4 nacelles here, and it's not normally my favourite type of design with 4 nacelles. As you know, I like the typical archetypal Star Trek ship with 2 nacelles, but because it looks oldie worldy, I think it carries it off just right. I also like the way they've put the main deflector dish right down the middle of the saucer. I think that's quite cool. I mean, the bridge is right on top of the main deflector dish working, so you know they might have to be careful there. Could have some after effects if the deflector dish decides to give off some nasty microwaves or whatever the main deflector dish sends out. But anyway, I'm sure they've shielded against that. So as you can see, I think she's quite cool. So I'll tell you what we'll do now. We'll zoom to the bridge. We'll have a look at the bridge. I know we've seen the Pioneer Bridge, but I never get tired of seeing it. And we'll have a look at the build while we're there. So I'll see you momentarily. Well, here we are on the bridge of the USS Magellan, And yes, as you can see, I think we're having the same sort of molecular cohesion problems we had on the Ranger class with this seating. Yes, that's quite odd, isn't it? I think Cryptic needs to have a look at that. I mean, this crewman here looks thoroughly miserable, doesn't he? Absolutely miserable. I mean, he can't even reach the controls. And God knows how my number one's going to steer the ship. I mean, is she my number one? I think she's my number one. But she's a helmsman. But anyhow, the Romulan person seems to know what he's up to. He's still pushing buttons. He still seems to know what he's pushing, doesn't he? So I'll leave him to it. He's quite happily pushing away there, isn't he? So, and I'll have to get used to that hailing sound as well, because I keep thinking I'm going to go into a game. Right, so let's have a look at the build. So, as you can see, we have 4 weapons to the front and we have 3 weapons to the rear. I'm keeping with my Antiproton build, which I carried over from my Ranger class. So in the front I have 2 fleet Antiproton beams, and I have an advanced radiant Antiproton beam and an advanced radiant quantum torpedo, and that's giving me the 2-piece set. And just to remind us what that is, we get plus 19 ship hull capacity, increases starship maximum hit points, plus 25% temporary hit point bonus to radiant weapon procs. Again, the deflector, impulse, warp and shields is part of the discovery set. In the rear weapons, I have another advanced fleet antiproton beam, I have an omnidirectional antiproton beam, and I have an omnidirectional antiproton support beam array. Now this is also part of a 3-piece set, but I'm going to keep it just as is. In the devices, we have the red battery capacitor, beacon of KLS, Kobayashi Maru transponder, and a shields battery. Now then, the console that comes with the ship is the Universal Temporal Destabilization Matrix. My word, I was worrying about that then. Destabilization Matrix. That's cool, isn't it? And what does this do? The Temporal Cruiser comes with the Temporal Destabilizer Matrix Universal Console. Well, that's not easy to say, is it? Anyway, when this console is activated, it will release a temporal shockwave that causes physical damage over time to nearby enemies and reduces damage resistance and shield hardness to all affected foes. This console may be equipped on any starship, and it may be equipped in any console slot. 4-kilometer sphere, 2 minutes recharge for 15 seconds, 572.3 physical damage every 1 second, ignore shield, minus 25 energy damage resistance rating, minus 25 shield resistance. Not overly awed by that, but anyway. I'm using the Universal Abrasive Hazard Shielding, which 5% shield resistance, because I think this is going to be a rather squishy ship, so we're going to have to beef her up a little bit here. The good old-fashioned Trellium deplating, plus 17.5 all damage resistance rating, 26.2 starship hull capacity. I'm running the Universal Dynamic Power Redistributor module, which is giving me 11.3 all damage resistance rating and 90% directed energy damage. The bioneural infusion circuits, that's giving me 29.5 starship hull capacity and 29.5 starship control expertise. I basically put this on for the critical severity because it gives me plus 26.2 critical severity. The tactical console, the Universal Hostile Acquisition, That's given me plus 30 accuracy rating and plus 30 starship control expertise. The tachyokinetic converter, another console which is becoming a permanent console that I rely heavily upon. It gives me plus 29.5 starship control expertise, plus 39.4 flight turn rate, plus 1.3 critical chance, and a 13.1 critical severity. And I'm also having another go with this. This is the Universal Aligned Antiproton Shielding, and this is giving me a 17.1 antiproton damage and a 17.1 starship shield capacity. Incoming damage buffs weapon haste and shields for 20 seconds, plus 0.25% energy weapon firing haste, plus 0.25% shield capacity and regeneration. What's that? Effect scale with number at the time. Okay, right, 2 second recharge. Right, so there we go. We won't go for a wander around the ship because I'm sure you're familiar with it now, having seen the my Ranger class review a couple of days ago. So let's go back outside and just have a look at some stats, because I'm eager to know what they are because I haven't even seen them yet. So I'll see you shortly. Okay, so here we are back outside, and I'm eager to see the statistics, so let's have a look. So the hull is 67,831. The resists are quite respectable actually. Yeah, quite happy with them. The shields are in the 21,000 range. Yeah, can live with that. Accuracy rating 47.5. I suppose I could improve upon that, but something must give way here if I do that, and frankly I'm quite happy with the way things are, so I can live with 47.5. Critical chance 21%, which is 1% above my target. I'm happy with that. Critical severity 158.1%. I'm happy with that as well because that's above my 120% target as well. Stations, we have an Ensign Universal Station. We have the Ensign Universal Station I've made into a tactical. We have a Lieutenant Commander Tactical Station, which again I'm using for beam enhancements really. We have a Commander Engineering Station. So this build is basically, you can see it's moving towards the tank sort of build, but anyway. We have an Ensign Engineering Station, and we have a Lieutenant Science Station. So there you have it. So I'm eager to give her a go because this is the first time I've put her together. So we'll make the mistakes together, and you'll see warts and all, just how good she is, or just how bad she is. So let's go for a little run in the Japori sector. See you in a bit. Okay, so here we are in our Japori run. Well, oh, that was surprising. I wasn't expecting that. That went down rather quickly. Well, she appears to be standing up for herself quite well, doesn't she? Right, let's kick into high gear and see what we can do. Well, I'm quite surprised that she's standing up for herself quite well. I'm very pleased indeed. Last thing I wanted to do was die on her first maiden voyage, but she seems to be doing quite well. Now let's have a look at this console. What does this do? Wow, that was a splendid console, wasn't it? I have no idea what it did though. We'll have to wait and see what the effects are. I don't want to put the kiss of death on it, but we appear to be surviving quite well. Oh, we had a massive 26,000 hit there. Wow, that's 12,000 there. Yes, I think I'm very pleased actually, very pleased. I was a bit nervous when we set off out because I didn't think she'd perform very well with no masteries and reduced firepower, but we took a bit of a hit there, didn't we? Wow, hull's dropping a little bit. Oh, she's recovered quite well, so didn't have to activate anything. Oh, there we go. Yep, that's another one down. Wow. What a splendid run that was. Excellent run. For a T4 ship. I am absolutely elated with that result. I mean, yeah, I think I'm going to have to practice a little bit more in her just to see what her limitations are. Stay away from a few explosions and she should be okay. I might play around with a few more consoles just to see if I can firm up the hull and shields, but all in all I was very pleased with that run. And as I say, as we become more obsessed with T6 ships, I think sometimes we forget to look back on these T4s and T3s. Yeah, I'm very impressed with this, very impressed. This will make a fine addition to my fleet, and yes, I will be having quite a few adventures in this ship. So, without further ado, I shall bid you all good night, and I hope you're all keeping safe. And I'll try to pump out more of these reviews. Hopefully I can try and cheer you all up. So, until next time, this is JeSter signing off.